Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast. This week we have Mr. Andy Coy of My Trucker Pro. Andy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris. It's a pleasure to be invited onto your show.
I tell you, I'm excited to have you because My Trucker Pro has some really unique features to it that I think people will appreciate, and that's what I want to get into. Can you start off by telling us a little bit of your background and how you got involved?
Yes. So myself and most of my team comes from the high-tech industry. We're based in Silicon Valley, San Francisco area, and we look at different industries, and we found that the transportation industry really needed a little bit of help from our point of view. And so here we are trying to help out.
And the reason I'm laughing is some of us in transportation are really behind when it comes to how we can possibly use technology.
Yes, yes. And the deeper you look into the industry, you find that it is very disparate. So lots of different things, lots of different places to look and find, and mixed up in a way. So one of the things we're trying to do is make it easier for people to go in and find what they're looking for.
And how is it that you do that?
We have what we call an aggregation platform. And what that is, we have a number of different features that people can use in the industry. What we're striving for is a one-stop shop for different tools and products and so on and so forth on the My Trucker Pro.
Okay, give me an example. If I was looking for a product, what type of product am I going to find on My Trucker Pro?
We have everything from apparel to supplies to things like ELD devices, electronic devices, pretty much everything you would need. That's where the direction we're heading. From small equipment to services. So you could buy insurance, you could buy various packages and services along with products. And then, of course, we have equipment.
And you may or may not know, I'm based in Canada, and the ELD rule took effect here in Canada on January the 1st of 23. So you can now get a ticket if you are required to have an ELD, and you don't, you can now get a ticket in most areas of Canada. So
Yes, exactly. And the vendor we work with is called ELD Mandate. It's on our site. You can buy it on our site. And we have a big marketing push in Canada based on what you just said. It's become mandatory. And it's funny that our product line is called ELD Mandate because it is mandated now.
It is. And if I remember, and I didn't do it right before the show, but when we first talked, did I not check the Canada website and it's listed there?
Yes, I believe you're correct.
And for our listeners and viewers, I'll put a link in the show notes to Transport Canada for that link where they can check, because it's now up to almost 80 devices. And I think we're pushing close to 60 vendors that are Transport Canada approved. So that's giving transportation some choice now.
Yes, exactly.
And by the way, one of the things that David Heller mentioned on our previous podcast from TCA is that the FMCSA in the States is looking at whether they need to have some sort of a vetting, a better way of having approved ELDs in the US.
Yes.
Because here in Canada, you got to pay money and get that approval process done, and it's tested. And in the state, we know it isn't. And there's some difficulties with that. The lawyers have found which ones aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and they are having fun in court with that.
Exactly. Yeah. ELD mandate is all their devices are approved in the US and Canada, which is very good.
I suspect if they're approved in Canada, they certainly meet the FMCSA, the requirements there.
Yes.
And it's interesting. What else can we find on Trucker Pro?
On My Trucker Pro, you have also a community. So one of the things we found in looking at the industry, there are just literally hundreds, if not thousands of different sites on, for example, Facebook and LinkedIn that are trucking or transportation related. But figuring out which ones to join, that could be just mind boggling because there's just so many of them. And are you getting correct information? Is it completely related to what you're looking for? What we have is a community that is fully dedicated to transportation. It's free to join. It's built into our platform. So you're not jumping around to different parts of the web to find different things.
And My Trucker Pro is an easy an easy URL or a website to remember because it is mytruckerpro.com.
Exactly. Yeah. We wanted to come up with a name that was easy to remember and would be descriptive in what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and it's
because the platform was developed for you, the trucker, or you, the transportation professional.
Yeah, it's got an awful lot of just different things. We briefly talked about the ELDs. You'd mentioned clothing, but they have a lot more.
Yes, exactly. And we are a young company, so we're continually adding products and services to our site. We're not just going to be what you today. We just added a big line of clothing from a company based out of Canada called Tough Duck, and they've been around for 80 some odd years. So very good quality. And that's the other thing about our site. We're being very selective with vendors. So we want the quality and companies that have been around and that are trusted.
And I've worn Tough Duck, and yes, it does. It's lasts almost forever. I don't want to say forever. I'd probably get sued, but
It's just very good quality. I'll say that.
all right. So we've got clothing, we've got ELDs. Can I buy a truck on your site?
Yeah. So what we did is we have an equipment area, and what that allows, it allows dealers and even individuals that want to list equipment, they can put that up on our site and it's completely searchable on the as well as within our site. And that allows, it's almost like a Craigslist in a way where you can post things, right? So it's just not us putting equipment up. It's anybody putting equipment up. So it's very unique in that standpoint because of the combination. You have equipment, you have services, you have products all in one place, and then you have a community. So that's really our secret sauce, if you will.
And I'm just looking here under services, and we've got financing, insurance, job listing package, TMS. What's that acronym stand for? Just in case somebody doesn't know.
Transportation management services.
And we've got toll management and warranty services. So several of those I suspect would be US only, such as insurance as of now, but maybe there's a way that you can, as we transition into our next topic, which is the future plans of My Trucker Pro, maybe you can include Canadian insurance on there somehow. I'm not sure how.
Yes, actually, there are discussions going on in the background as we speak. Yes.
Oh, see, what the heck? I didn't know that, but And then under marketplace, you do have all kinds of stuff, including gloves and hairnets. I mean, every truck driver needs a decent pair of gloves in order to do their vehicle inspection and handle the cargo. What else could I find under the marketplace?
Really, and we're adding to it all the time. We just added a line of safety lighting equipment, very good company called Firefox Lighting.
And I wonder if I haven't heard of Firefox, but yes, Firefox, you've got headsets. I assume that's for CBs and for cell phones. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
And all kinds of other stuff. So we can find all of this at mytruckerpro.com, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And what else would be how financing you if I wanted to buy a bigger piece of equipment than a headset and it takes a little bit more than a credit card, is the financing for US clients only at the moment?
Yes. Although again, we're working with a number of vendors to bring that into Canada as well.
All right. So as you grow My Trucker Pro, what is the future? What does it look like?
We see the product lines just exploding because we're at a point where people are starting to find out about us and vendors are actually coming to us saying, hey, can we put our products and services up on your site? Because we love the idea of a consolidated site like we. It only benefits a vendor because basically we are going to be the site that has the most eyeballs, right, from the industry. So why wouldn't you want your stuff available on My Trucker Pro?
It benefits the vendor, but I'm a consumer and I think it benefits me even more to have one website where I can get all of my trucking needs.
Exactly. And we were really, one of the founding ideas was we wanted to have a site that would really help the smaller owner operator type company and give them access to the products and services that maybe the bigger companies have access and pricing available to them. But the smaller guy, he either doesn't have time to look around and wants to find it all in one place and then experience the better pricing and service.
Yeah. And you don't know that my other job, besides being a podcast host, is a safety consultant up here in Canada. And as a safety consultant, most of my clients are 25 trucks and less. So it sounds like your ideal target market is very similar.
Yes. Although we are finding bigger companies who are interested in purchasing from us as well. So I think it just keeps verifying to me that we're on to the right mix of things here to get a lot of the industry very excited about it.
No, and how long has My Trucker Pro been around?
We've been around for a little over 3 years, and a lot of that time was development. So we
Okay.
really have only had the commerce side and everything available here for probably the last 4 months.
Oh,
And we've
really?
experienced, yes, each month we have 100% growth in traffic and also in sales. So if we keep that up, we're going to be very big, very.
I think if you've been up for 4 months and you're growing at 100% per month, you're already 4 times bigger than you started at. So that's huge growth. That's not right.
Exactly.
It's an exponent of where you started, but you're growing rapidly.
Yes, yes.
And when
It's a lot of fun. It's very exciting. And for years in Silicon Valley working, companies take off like skyrockets. And I think that's what we're experiencing here as well. And it has a lot to do with the technology we bring to the party.
yeah, no, if you are making things simpler, and that's exactly what I think My Trucker Pro does, is you are making it simpler for me to get the things that I need as a truck driver or as a logistics person. If you make it simple, they will come.
Exactly.
What else, as we wrap up, Andy, what else do we need to know about My Trucker Pro?
In the future, we see we're going to be coming out with a jobs board. And I think
Right?
that's going to be really exciting with the ups and downs in the industry. Everyone's always looking for jobs that are out there and how they could potentially improve their positions. And again, the jobs that'll be on our side are going to be focused 100% on the transportation industry. Why go on a site where there's thousands of different jobs and not a very good fit for you, possibly, where here all the jobs are going to be, focused on transportation, everything from back office to driving.
Driving, mechanics then should be included, I would hope. Because
Absolutely.
there's an absolute shortage. We all know that there is a shortage of truck drivers. But you alluded to that there is a shortage of every position in trucking, whether it's payroll mechanics, people. I had a friend of mine tell me, if I know of anybody, they can hire them if they're experienced.
Yes.
When do you think the job board might be up and running?
It could be as early as the first quarter here. We're still trying to evaluate some of the different technologies to make it, again, that user experience has to be perfect, simple, fast, fully searchable.
And mobile friendly.
Yes. Our whole concept is mobile first, and then we get back to bigger and bigger screens as you go up, but it has to work on the small phones.
See, and that's something that I like, the fact that you said mobile friendly first and then you go the other way. I've never thought of it that way. I have several websites and I always think of it as computer first, which is wrong, because my audience is similar to yours. And most of my stuff is being consumed on a mobile device.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Andy from mytruckerpro.com. Last word to you.
Chris, I want to thank you for having us on the show. And I would suggest for the viewer audience, come in, see what we have, go ahead and join the social community that we have for free. And then you'll be getting automatic updates when you do that on new products, new services, free events, everything that you can think of related to transportation.
And are you just a question comes into my mind. Are you starting yet the truck show route or route, depending on how your area says it?
We've actually been to truck shows recently, and we have a plan to, oops, sorry. We have a plan to attend a number of truck shows this year. We also have a secret weapon. We can do geofence marketing. So if we don't have time to go to a truck show ourselves physically, we can actually put a little geofenced area around where the truck show is going to take place and bombard it with resumes and products and community advertising. We do that with our vendors' products as well. So you can only imagine when we're setting up a geofence target, we can target truck stops, for example. And when you roll into a truck stop, you're going to see our presence.
That's cool. And that's the use of technology, which is, as you said, you are a technology guy. That's your background.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
We love bringing the technology to this industry. It's so much fun.
And as I said earlier, we need it. I'm one of those people. I happen to like technology, but there's many other people of my age, and including some truck drivers who would prefer that we don't even have an ELD. They like the paper and they like to be able to hold it and feel it. But as we know, we are all moving forward. Time doesn't stand still, and technology keeps rolling ahead.
Yes, exactly. And hopefully our goal is to make all that complicated technology very easy to use.
And all in one stop. And that's called mytruckerpro.com. Check it out. And Andy, thanks so much for coming on the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast.
Thank you for your time, Chris. And I look forward to your audience coming and checking out what we have on our site.
And that was Andy Coy from mytruckerpro.com, where they are trying to give you one stop where you can do a lot of purchasing and have a community discussion all about trucking and transportation and logistics. Way to go, Andy. I'm looking forward to how My Trucker Pro evolves over the short coming months. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you for listening to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.